for her partnership as it relates to our work at Big Sister of Greater Boston. Congresswoman, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I love all of these VIPs here.
Yes.
in the front row here. And so appropriate as we are celebrating Women's History Month, although we like to think that's year-round. But this is the official month of designation. And as the adage goes, little girls with dreams become women with vision.
Yes.
Right? So wonderful to be here for Women's History Month. And I want to thank my dear friend, Anissa, and just my partner and my colleague on so many issues of consequence. But this is in many ways a full circle moment and a continuation of work that we did together in our prior lives on behalf of girls. And so it's a very full circle moment. So thank you for participating in today's conversation as we come together and collectively celebrate this $250,000 investment of federal dollars. Yes. All of you are deserving and worthy of investment, $250,000. I'm proud to have worked in partnership with Big Sister to secure these federal funds, and again, want to express my gratitude to Big Sister Boston, my longtime friend Anissa George, for the work you do every day and for collaborating with our office to craft this proposal. And I do also just want to take a moment to acknowledge the contributions of Deborah, who initiated this, so I want to thank her for her outstanding work and dedication. Of course, we'll get to you. We've known each other for a long time. Again, this was a collaborative effort to secure this federal funding. Our girls are powerful, and mentoring relationships can have a positive impact for a lifetime. The funds we have secured will support Big Sister's one-to-one mentoring and enrichment programs. It has been proven that Big Sister Boston's one-to-one mentoring programs lead to enhanced outcomes for girls as they cultivate a positive sense of self, acquire social-emotional skills, navigate through challenges, and build resilience. We know our girls are managing so much right now. Recent data makes plain the layered challenges that our girls are facing. And since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have grieved immense personal and collective loss, and our children are certainly no exception. Like many of us, they have shouldered an unprecedented emotional burden after years of uncertainty and grief. Our children's mental health and emotional health have been pressure tested, not only by the pandemic and its economic consequences, but by the persistent threat of violence and systemic racism and sexism. The provision of these resources will enable Big Sister Boston to broaden its influence and support for young girls residing in various areas of Boston, allowing every girl a mentor-rich community in which they have access to the individual nurturing, guidance, and support they need to become confident, competent, and caring. That's what this funding is about. We know when young girls have meaningful adult relationships in their lives, it results in enhanced and improved school attendance, positive attitude towards school, towards life, and increased trust in their parents, all of which have been correlated with improved social and emotional well-being. These resources are direct investments in our young girls, our families, and communities. I take immense pride in these collective efforts. As some may be aware, I was a big myself. And although my little is as she reminds me, a whole-grown woman now, she'll never be rid of me. I think I might have even gained more from that relationship than she did, which is so often the case when it comes to mentoring. So, again, I take immense pride in our collective efforts in this work. This funding will strive to ensure that girls hailing from various racial, social, and economic backgrounds have meaningful access to mentoring opportunities. You know, the best gift that we can give any child, that we can give our girls, is a stable adult. And given the layered crises and challenges that our country, our Commonwealth have been navigating and bearing the weight of, and that impact on our family. So many of the adults in their immediate life have been destabilized because of economic pressures or illness or, again, grief in the wake of the pandemic. And so I'm grateful for mentors in the work of Big Sister who will stand in that gap. And I remain committed to staying in dialogue about how our team can continue to advocate on behalf of Big Sister Boston today and every day. Again, I thank you for joining us, and I look forward to hearing from all of our esteemed panelists. And now we'll pass it back to Anissa.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you everyone for being here. I'd love to go around the table and just have everyone introduce themselves and maybe mention briefly what your relationship to this space, this day, and this work is. Start with you, Dr. Jackman.
Good morning, everyone. Great to see all the smiling faces. I'm Dr. Charmaine Jackman. I'm a licensed psychologist here in Massachusetts and the founder of InnoPsych. I have been a Big Sister. I actually started recommending Big Sister when I was a court clinic evaluator. That's how I got involved with Big Sister. I am a founding member of the Big Sisters Diversity Board and part of the new Girl Network mentoring team.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ilva. I work at Big Sister. I'm the manager of our site-based mentoring program, so I get to come to work with our young people at their schools or at other sites and watch them grow and learn in their relationships. I'm also a Big Sister in our community-based program. I've been matched with my little for almost 8 years now, so I've seen her go from age 7 to 15, which is really exciting.
Good morning, I'm Joseph Marie. I'm a little sister in the Big Sister program. I've been doing Big Sisters for 4 years now, and I've been matched with my Big Sister.
Good morning. My name is Maya Roberts. I am the VP of Community Relations. I've been involved with Big Sister almost 21 years this year. So my passion for the work, for the girls, for our partners, for Ayanna, well, when we're recruiting women and they say they don't have time, I said, well, wait a minute. Ayanna Pressley is a Big Sister. If anybody has tight time, it's her. So, ABC was
That's
where
right.
we started.
That's right.
And so I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you, Maya. And then I want to welcome, and I should have probably started with you, our host for today, Ms. Thomas.
Hello, my name is Sarita Thomas. I'm the proud principal of the William Monroe Trotter. It is my pleasure to continue this program on. Big Sisters has been with the Trotter, I think, since 2007. And so we've had a lot of Big Sisters and Little Sisters through the Trotter, and I'm honored to keep that legacy going.
I'm Renee Spencer. I'm a professor of social work at Boston University, and it's my great pleasure and honor to be here and to share in this moment and celebration and to be with you all, with this fine group. I owe a debt of gratitude to Big Sister. When I was just getting started as a researcher and working on my dissertation, I called up the Big Sister Association and said, would you take a risk? I'd really love to do a study with you all, because I was really interested in talking with mentors and young people who had really powerful relationships that made the kind of difference that we're all looking for in these kinds of relationships, and I knew Big Sister Association was doing that every day. So Big Sister Association said yes, and they launched my career. So I'm very grateful to get to be here.
Hi, my name is Prativa. I'm from Boston Academy. This is my first year as a Big Sister. I really love it.
And Prativa is part of our high school mentoring program, which is an added effort that we do at Big Sister, and it's a partnership between Boston Latin Academy, which is just around the corner, and the Trotter, where high school students come here and mentor. So Prativa, thank you very much for being here. We have some of our mentees in the audience today as well. Thank you. So we want to open up for a conversation about this important work that we do at Big Sister and the important work that happens in the community, and what this funding will do to truly improve our potential to serve the girls that we work with and the communities that we work with across the board. So here we are.
Excellent. Well, that's what I would love to hear. Just how, if you wanted to share with folks how exactly this investment will be used and what's the difference that it will make.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to share that, but we have this roundtable here to really express those engagements from whether it's the high school mentoring program, some of our one-on-one
Sure.
relationships.
Question for the table.
And the New Girls Network, which is really sort of the extension of the work that we do at Big Sister and supporting young women in their professional development, their professional career, and supporting professional relationships. But also the impacts we know are very real. And you see that, Dr. Jackman, in your work every single day, as well as you, Dr. Spencer, in your work every day. But no doubt, we see it in the classroom too, here at the Trotter and beyond.
Well, let me ask a more pointed question then. I'll try to do it that way. You know, just I know I was referencing the pandemic a fair amount because, you know, so many of the reasons that would lead a parent to sign their child up for a mentor. Those challenges have really been exacerbated in the wake of the pandemic, and I'm wondering if you could just speak to what are some of the trends and things that you're seeing that our girls are struggling with, and what do you think the difference of this sort of investment will make at this moment?
Thank you for that question and for highlighting mental health for young people. So as a psychologist, I also worked in a high school for 17 years, and so I saw this firsthand. I would say some of the data we're seeing, there's a recent CDC report that talks about just the increase in anxiety and depression that young people are facing in general. And we see that especially impacted our females. I would say last year's data show that 60% of young women express increase in their anxiety and depression symptoms. In addition to that, we're seeing increase in conflict, physical conflict in the schools. And so I think about all that happened during the pandemic for young people, and some of you may connect with this, right? Being pulled away from your friendships, which is something so very important to you, can have really significant impacts on your well-being. So in terms of mentoring and the benefits that it offers, one of the things as a psychologist, we see that one of the main things we look for when someone's having a mental condition is that social isolation. They're pulling away from their friendships. And what mentoring offers is connection. It brings people together. It brings two people together to enjoy and be in each other's space. Having a mentor builds confidence, builds self-confidence. And some of you girls in here who has a mentor, who has a big sister.
All right.
How do you feel when you're meeting with your big sister? Do you smile like when it's time to meet, right? Do you get happy, right? Yeah? So another thing that mentoring offers is, I say that it builds those happiness hormones, those just connection with other people, feeling loved and cared for. So I think there's so many things that I'll pause here, but I just want to highlight that connection, the confidence that it builds, and improving coping skills mentoring offers for young people.
Wonderful. And Class Maria, I want to make sure we continue to center some of the younger voices up here. Class Maria, you said you've been a little for 3 years now? 4. Okay, 4. All right. And so what have you gained from the experience? What do you like about it?
My big sister's name is Danielle, and I got matched with her in 4th grade, so 3 years ago. And like we kind of like clicked instantly. Like we had a lot of things in common, and after a while, it kind of felt like I met her like I've known her forever, and not just like a program and stuff.
You know, on that end, I just, Big Sister is so thoughtful and intentional about the matches. I felt the same way about my name's Ayanna, her name is Ariana. Our birthdays were a couple of days apart. We both had an adult that was in our lives, a parent that was incarcerated. We both love animals. There were a lot of shared experiences there, and it was a sisterhood by bond, but it felt like it was by blood because there was such this immediate kinship, and that's really a testament to the intention with which you do these matches. So Maya, let me ask you about that a little bit. Could you just speak to capacity? So, how many girls are being served right now? How do we see these resources, these federal funds, this $250,000 being stewarded to increase capacity? I don't know if you want to talk about wait lists or whatever you like. Yeah. I'm always recruiting. She was referencing earlier ABC. So when in my prior life, I had an effort called ABC Ayanna's Big Challenge to recruit more bigs of color because there was such long wait lists, and so we never stopped recruiting.
Never stop
Yeah.
recruiting. So the Big Sister Association serves nearly 1,000 girls a year with mentors who are caring and who provide the kind of support that you're hearing about today. Our goal is to leverage the funds that we're receiving to increase that number, to make sure that we are reaching more girls, that we are providing girls with the kind of opportunities that not only help them fight the challenges that they meet every day, but to leverage how brilliant they are, to create experiences where they can get to go to Biogen and learn about being in a lab, where they can go and meet women who are scientists, women who are athletes, so that they can see people who are like them doing that kind of work. So that requires going out, building partnerships. It's about using these funds to leverage additional resources that we can bring to the girls and to the families themselves.
It's an important point that it's not just about helping them to navigate challenges, but also about harnessing their brilliance, informing their joy, fostering aspirations. As we're so often talking about, in order to be it, you must first see it. And so all of that is accomplished here. And, again, in the wake of the pandemic, I think our work of recovery is not just economic, it is emotional. And I really, in many ways, do see trauma as kind of the second pandemic. And our greatest infrastructure is really our people, is our babies. And so I know you're all like, I'm not a baby. Well, you're babies to us.
You're our babies.
Okay. Hey, you are deserving of support and knowing a village sees you and loves you and centers your voices and your dreams. So, all right. Principal, well, thank you so much for having us today. And, would love to hear more about your partnership with Big Sister and the impact that it's had.
So as I said earlier, Big Sisters has been with the Trotter since 2007, in which we've been connected to BLA, and their girls have been coming over to service our girls. And I think that's a phenomenal piece, because when our young, and I do call them my babies here, when our young girls get to see older girls, but still young, developing young women serving in this capacity, it makes them want to serve. We already have some of our girls who talk about wanting to be big sisters, who are in the 6th grade. They want to be big sisters, but they're not yet old enough. And they were bantering around wanting a program to teach them how to be big sisters. So they want the training now so that they're ready to go out the gate at 9 years, in the 9th grade. But one thing you mentioned earlier was this even before the pandemic, our girls were dealing with sense of self and this social media that they live in, where everything is exposed to them and they don't see themselves as beautiful. And so one of the things we do here every day, we call our girls beautiful. We always say to them, good morning, beautiful, good morning, beautifuls. And our girls who come over from Boston Latin Academy are so gracious to them. They're great with them. They show them, coming from an exam school, how great girls can be. That they can be mathematicians, they can be writers. And that's what I love, that they get matched with young girls that are doing great things academically already, so they can aspire. So they can aspire to do things academically as well. So I'm sure if one of our girls eventually, before this day is over, can talk to you about that and what their big sisters do for them.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, beautiful.
Thank you, beautiful. I'm sorry, I meant to start that way.
And Prativa is one of our high school mentors that comes
Yes.
over.
Yes, Prativa, do you want to talk about your experience and why you wanted to do this and
Yeah.
what difference it's made in your own life?
This is my first year. I really love Big Sister. I get to mentor my little son is Ayanna. She's quite younger than me, but we still have that connection. I get to talk to her about how her day's going, what classes she takes, what she likes, what she wants to be. Just kind of guide her on what I can help her with, whether it's homework or something she's dealing with that day. And she also helps me understand how little things are important, reminding me that I should go out in the snow and play. It's just so fun having a younger sister to teach things, and she also teaches me things as well, taking away a little bit academically as well, having that view, helping her grow, helping me grow.
Wonderful, thank you so much. All right, Dr. Spencer, would you like to speak a little bit about what you think that the impact and the benefit will be here?
Sure, I can't think of a better investment, to tell you the truth, both in the organization, Big Sister Association, and also in the mission, which is to form those connections that Dr. Jackman was describing. It really is the centerpiece of our human existence. I mean, people sometimes talk about how important relationships are for development, but relationships are actually the mechanism of development. That's who we become, who we are, is in and through our close connections with other people. There's one researcher who called it ordinary magic, these kinds of supportive relationships, and I think it really captures it. It's very everyday stuff that we're talking about here, but it couldn't be more vital. Another friend of mine once referred to it as oxygen. When you don't have it, boy, do you know you don't have it. But you can take it for granted when it's plentiful. And I think it's that sense of, in the pandemic, we've had that experience of having our connection, our oxygen taken away when we were all socially distancing to try to stay alive. And we experienced a sense of what that might be like and live that, and we're kind of coming out of that. But I think that gave us all up close and personal sense of how vital this is, and it's just important for every girl to have access to lots of that kind of connection and oxygen. The more the better. The more of these kinds of relationships, the better. So I think it's a really profound investment.
I love the reference to the ordinary magic, because I think we often hear, and I've heard over the last couple of months taking on this new role, how there's an expectation that a big sister in particular has to do something extraordinary. And it's actually in the ordinary that those bonds are formed, that oxygen is delivered. So I'm really grateful that you put it in that way, because that is exactly it. It doesn't have to be something extraordinary. It is those little small moments that make those big differences.
It really, that oxygen is also for the big sisters. That the relationships that they build, these funds will also help us prepare our big sisters to be good listeners, to answer their questions. The question that we get the most of is, what are the things I can do with my little sister? And how can I answer some of the questions that she has of me? And so we provide training and support and programming so that we provide some oxygen for our big sisters too, so that they're walking the talk. They're not just telling their little sisters what they could do, what they should do, but they're actually growing right along with their little sisters. And you talked a little bit about that when you were talking about your little sister too.
I love what's been lifted up here, because one of the things that I always want our girls to know is that you are enough, just as you are, and that you deserve to show up in the world fully, authentically, and unapologetically as yourself. But you probably won't remember that because I said it. You'll remember it when you see it. And so I think it's important for the mentors as well, because something that I was speaking with Anissa about previously is that when I've been trying to recruit bigs in the past, that they might feel, well, I don't have the right degree or the right job, I don't have the right clothes, all these ways in which they would seek to discredit themselves as having something to contribute. And, you know, the point is, whether you're talking about the bigs or the littles, you are enough. And, you know, as Dr. King said, everyone can be great because everyone can serve.
That's right.
And so this is an incredible way to be in service, which is just to have that connectivity, to be in community, to be in sisterhood, to be in fellowship, to be relatable. And I love that your little is inspiring you to enjoy childhood. So now you can say to that one, listen, this teenage thing isn't all, it's all cracked up to me. Take your time. You know,
Adulthood thing
but
too.
right, this adulthood thing too, right? Yes, sir.
But it's also growing leadership,
Yeah.
you know, and Lisa spoke on it earlier, where it doesn't take much. You don't have to have a degree to be a leader.
That's right.
You don't have to have a college degree or high school diploma to lead. And Big Sisters is developing leadership skills in our girls very early on through love and through nurturing.
That's right.
And that's the powerful piece to that. And our girls understand you never outgrow mentoring. You never. I didn't have the experience of Big Sisters growing up. But once I got older and I gained mentors and I understood the power of a mentor, you never outgrow it. You're always seeking it and
That's right.
wanting it as you grow in life, no matter what you do, no matter what path you take. So this is a great opportunity for our girls to step into leadership, and it doesn't cost them anything but their time.
And can I build on that? I love what you said, Sarita, and I love what you said, Dr. Renee, about that oxygen. And same similar experience. I didn't have a mentor growing up, and but once you have it, like, you don't want to let it go. And I think what these funds allow is access. So I look at it about access because, and I know when we worked on the diversity board, our goal was to increase the number of mentors of color. Because we wanted the girls of color to have access to someone who looks like them. And so I think that's about giving choice and access, right? I think that's huge.
I want to add to this conversation a hashtag that we use pretty frequently. I use it quite a bit. It's the be present, not perfect. And how just simply that engagement is so critically important, and sort of extending that conversation around not needing our big sisters to be part of the C-suite. We just need them to be seen. That's a really important part of our work, is engaging, forgetting about the perfection, but just thinking about that engagement piece.
So I wanted to also speak to all of the women in here who might think they might be too old to be a big sister. There is no, we understand that love and care is intergenerational. That you can be, the minimum age to be a big sister is 18, and there is no upper age. You have energy, and you have to play. You're not there as a mom, you're not there as a psychologist, you are there as a friend. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be a friend and learn and get back into play, even as an older woman.
Absolutely.
I told you the recruitment doesn't stop. But our girls are so deserving, so, you know, it shouldn't start. Did you want to offer something about?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'd
I
love to hear from you.
what's being said about leadership at any age and how we're cultivating that with our Big Sister programs. And I'm looking around this room and all the faces that are familiar to me, and I'm nervous sitting up here, but to look out and see my friends in the audience, you are all giving me support, and I think it's so wonderful to come into the program and see even the littles, the older littles, supporting the younger littles supporting their older peers. I just think it's so magical to see that every week to week, those relationships building, this community that you're all building with each other and your fellow classmates, your fellow girls in your school, and just the welcoming energy that you always feel. I feel it in this room. I feel it when I come to the Trotter. It's just so great to have a program that adds to the support that I know these students already have with their families, with their teachers, with their community. I feel so honored and proud to be part of the Big Sister community that we bring to this school.
We're honored and proud
Yeah.
that you do what you do. You're part of this broader community. Well, I think that's everything. I think we covered it. Is there anything else you'd like to
Just,
add?
we're so grateful to have this partnership with you, to have the partnership with the Trotter and Latin Academy and with everyone at this round table. Without everyone here in this room and beyond, we couldn't do this very important work, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Absolutely. What-
And I like that we do the AABC.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I guess we're just going to stay right here. We were going to physically shift, but we're not going to. I think. Do you want to give me the check, or I'll just?
Oh, we're gonna do a group photo? Love to do a group photo, yeah. So we can stand up front and do the group photo, or you wanna say that?
I'm gonna
after?
say some. I'm just gonna offer some closing.
Okay, all right.
Some.
Sorry, don't mind
some
me
closing
throwing up.
remarks. And then we'll get to the moment you've all been waiting for.
I love big checks.
So again, I think that the case, has already been made in ways that are eloquent, convincing, and compelling. In this moment, it really is imperative that we allocate resources towards growth and success of programs that will facilitate the holistic development of girls, while also prioritizing the strengthening and elevating of every girl's voice. I remember many years ago when I think in error, I would say I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. The truth of the matter is, no one is voiceless. Our girls are not voiceless. You all have voices. What you are too often is unheard. And it's our job to create space for your voices to be heard. And what a wonderful way to begin to have your voice heard and for your voice to be strengthened through that one-on-one mentoring, especially with those who will center your lived experience and can relate to you in many ways. My desire for our girls ultimately is not only to survive, but to thrive and to reach your fullest potential. And as I said to educators earlier today, and I always greet educators with gratitude for being nation builders. So often it has been said that your job is what you get paid to do, your work is what you are called to do. And our educators have been called to be nation builders, pouring into our babies who go on to build up our Commonwealth, our country, and our world. What could be more important than that? So can we just take a moment to hand clap our educators? But I also do want to applaud the entire learning community, from food service workers to custodians, to administrators, to librarians, to clinicians, to social workers. Let's just hand clap the entire learning community and thank everyone. And then, I don't know, before I hand you the check, Anissa or Maya or Principal Thomas, if you have any closing remarks. You don't have to. I'm just, as we say in Congress, I'm yielding.
I'll yield my time.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for making it possible for us to have the resources to make what's happening here available to more girls throughout the city. There's nothing more powerful than giving someone your full attention.
Now, I'm gonna tell the press, you all will hear that quote again, but I might not reference you.
And so with these funds, we'll make it possible for us to make this available to more girls throughout the city.
Hear, hear. Thank you.
And I want to say to my Trotter girls that you need to understand you are worth every bit of what you are being given. Every bit of it. You are worth it.
Yes.
And I want to thank you. I want to thank Anissa for choosing us. Anissa and I went to high school together, so we have a very long history with one another. And I want to thank you.
Well, tell them the school,
Only a couple of
because
years
they
ago.
always
Only a
pop up
few
the
years.
school. Please, tell them the school.
Boston Technical High School. Class of 99. Hey, no, be proud. We made it this far. I'm very proud. And I want to thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you. Because we have wanted you at our school for a very long time. So I thank you.
I'll be
Thank
back.
you.
And could you
Yes.
indulge me for a moment? I just want to acknowledge the living legend that's here, that was on your wall.
Yes. Where is Miss Wright?
Okay, Miss
Alma
Wright.
Wright.
Miss Wright. Can you tell them who this is? Because let me tell you, when I was walking down the hallway, I saw your beautiful picture, on the wall, and read about just your being here from the moment the doors were open. And you just have an incredible living legacy. And I think it is so important in during Women's History Month, that we acknowledge the women immediately around us that may not be in history books, but
That's
are
right.
makers and shapers of history every day, and very often do not get their due.
That's right.
So, do you want to?
Well, I see Miss Wright as an unsung hero because what she has given to Boston Public Schools for over 50 plus years and continues to give, even just recently retired, and still comes to this school every day and makes sure that we have Miss Wright oversees our Strong Woman, Strong Girls program. So she is still mentoring our girls. And she takes care of our outdoor garden. And she makes sure that our children have beautiful plants throughout this building every day. And it's that kind of giving back to the community that often you don't hear about and you don't see. And she's been a tremendous support to me, coming in as a new school leader. She's been there. There were nights where I worked until 11, 12 o'clock. And who was right next to me? Sitting here was Miss Wright.
Well,
So I
good morning,
appreciate her.
beautiful. Happy Women's History Month. And you need to come up here with this check.
Yeah.
And you said that you wanted the girls to know that they're deserving. I want to make sure that you all know the number. Do you all know what the check is that you're getting today? Okay, say it with me. $250,000. What are you getting today? $250,000. Because you are worth it. Okay. All right. All right. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you sure?
Yep.
Want to bring some of the
Yeah, we'll stand.
Yeah, standing,
Yeah, I
of
was like,
course.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, some of the girls.
Yeah, let's get some of the girls up here.
Come on, ladies.
Come on, all up in the front.
Come on.
All right, girls.
Right here.
And all these.
I think you all should hold it. Don't be shy. Okay, here, you guys hold it. Face it that way. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Hold on. Yes, my girls. Yes, down in the front. Exactly. Good
There we
job.
go. That's
Oh, let me move this. Come on. Miss Wright, come on.
Miss Wright.
You stand. Here, go stand.
Come on.
Wait, she got Excuse me, excuse me.
Oh,
Your jacket up right now. Before you turn around, zip up. All the way, 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 all the way. Thank you, my love.
All right, any directing we need? Can you, is there anybody being blocked? Sophia, help them. If Ricardo can't see someone, just help them. Okay. All right, okay.
Put the girl in charge.
And hold on to it if you can, you guys, keep holding on. Thinking what a beautiful, what this is gonna do for these young women. Beautiful kids.
Say, girls, rule the world.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm gonna come over here. I want you to
Appreciate you all.
That's great.
And then I said,
More the merrier, right?
Yep, that's exactly.
Well, thank you.
I enjoyed it.